to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hola. I guess I forgot the whole part last. Just a song. Dang it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Athletics LLC. I almost did it all in Spanish, and then I cut it off at that one because it already got messed up. So this is post World Champs Valeria, and I've got the least amount of it. So there you go. Well, welcome to another fun episode of Athletics LLC. All but one of us is back into our comfy combines, but I don't think he's too upset about the comfy combines that he's in right now with Niagara Falls. So rain, especially with this Texas weather right now, you are not missing it at all. So with that said, Governor, how are you doing?
Doing great. Been here since the 13th. We're heading back on the 30th. It's like we blinked and it's over. But getting to see family I haven't seen in 6 years has been absolutely tremendous. Touring around Toronto, heading up to Niagara, all of that. And just having my kids see their cousins, and oh man, it's been fabulous. Next week I probably might be a little depressed. Now, as far as the evening rhythm, rushing home to get home by the time, the 5 o'clock Western time schedule starts, so I can be home by 8 to catch every single year it sucks you in and then it just spits you out. And now I'm having withdrawals. I'm like, what am I doing now? What am I doing my evenings now? But yeah, other than that, I'm good.
Until you have to start planning, or not planning, but getting back to workouts and stuff. You're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Here we are. Sir Lucius, the most deserving of us all to be in that comfy chair and snuggled up. How are you tonight, sir?
I am well. I am very well. I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm good.
Great. Not great that you're tired. Great that you're good. So.
Thank you.
Clyde, how you doing?
I'm good. I've never been to a world championship as a spectator. Me and the family hung out the whole time. I was there from day 1 all the way through day 10. Fantastic experience. Loved every minute of it. Would definitely do it again, but I prefer to be there coaching. So we'll change that in the future.
Nice. Lamar from afar, you are muted, sir, but how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing spectacular, Lee. I'm tired, but I refuse to admit that I'm tired because Sir Lucius coached for 9 of 10 days, so I don't get to be tired. I only coach for 2, but we did walk almost 13 miles.
Facts.
We did walk almost 13 miles while coaching the deck over those 2 days. That's a fact.
And we racked up, it was 31 hours. So that was pretty crazy to get that, well, whatever the Apple Watch told us. So whatever that means. But anyways.
Shout out to the popcorn and pretzels that saved my life.
Anyhow, we were discussing this earlier amongst the chat, but as we recapped, I'm going to go ahead and say that, as I calculated, and I used our Olympic spreadsheet and I copied it, and we knew the Olympics was correct. That's why I chose that one. And with that said, drum roll, please. And not at all, but I'm scrolling over so I can get the exact points.
Start at the bottom.
So with a whopping 32 points, Lamar from afar, you can stay afar.
Hey, but I did win one of the genders. Let's get that straight.
You did win one of the genders. We'll give you
Clearly,
that.
I know nothing. I know nothing about women's track, evidently.
At all. Not at all. Only 8 points worth. Rounding that out because he's busy coaching and winning medals and doing things of that nature. Sir Lucius had 34 points. Closely after that, we've got the governor with 36 points. Second from the best, we've got Clyde with 37 points.
I'm gonna need you to refer to me. I'm gonna need you to refer to me as the silver medal winner.
First out is Clyde. And then
No,
leaves me.
I'm sorry, sir. You failed.
I absolutely failed, but as I've been told, I won the silver medal. I absolutely failed to win the competition, which was the goal. But I demand a Florida-style recount. No one, including the audience,
100%.
believes that Big League Chew won the predictions
guy.
contest.
100%.
This
Listen.
guy.
That is literally the definition of blind squirrel theory.
No, not really. Because if you look, after I lined everything, believe me, I doubted it. So I looked it over a couple times. And it was literally, I mean, from 32 to 44, that's 12 points. And it was literally the back end stuff. I guessed the men's jab correctly. And I'm not going to say guess. Let's rephrase that. I got
Yes.
the men's jab. No, because we all had Anderson. And then we had, a few of us had Chopra, the Indian, javelin thrower, taking the silver. And then that legit, I don't know how to say that. But in third, well, I was the only one who put him third. But we all had the same names in different orders, besides you, Governor. So that's mainly what the competition was for the most part, everybody had the right names, just in not the right order. And
why don't we do this the right way and stop with the conjecture and nonsense? Congratulations, Big Chew. Great job.
Thank you.
See how easy
sir.
that was for? She kicked our tail.
I mean, she the only one still talking.
Well, here's the question. How many of these have
Because
has
she's
Big
big.
League won?
0.
This is the first one.
This is literally the first one. She's not last.
No, I've not been last a couple times. Just not a lot of times. But so, I mean, and per the competition, we either got the first place right and nothing else. First and third switch, none of them right. You know, there's quite a few that they're fat goose eggs all the way across. I mean, the 400-meter hurdles men's side would have been a goose egg had the governor and I not chose Trevor Bassett to take the bronze. Clearly, we need something about that. I mean, we all goose egg men's shot in third place. Men's
Didn't
long
see that
jump.
coming.
Yeah, I mean, men's long jump, we all goose egged the gold. Silver, we predicted halfway through, and then goose egged the bronze. A fat old goose egg in the men's too.
Listen, Chew, you don't need
yeah.
to keep running through it. We still want the recount from Florida, but either way, congratulations. You wear the crown.
Let me say this one more time. Congratulations.
You got the crown for now. We're not conceding the election, but you know, we'll see you in court.
I don't. No recount needed. Great job.
So that tis be all things LLC predictions for world champs. But
Congratulations, BLC.
Now let's get to the real stuff, right? So per something that was on the internet, we're going to go along the lines with it. And I am going to go ask the tiles, what do you think the best performance was of the championship?
I don't know how. I think that's not a very long answer. 50-68, and it's done. I mean, like that's for me anyway. I mean, okay, you know, and I think that for me, there's the 12-12 is pretty impressive as well. Don't get me wrong, but 50-68. I mean, come on, don't get me wrong. 12-12 is nice. It's really nice. And 621 is nice. 50-68, and I'm done. I mean, come on. Yes, I'm done. She dismantled a world-class field, just took them apart.
Yeah.
What was so
Brutal.
wild about it, right? Is that I feel like, so I'm old enough to have seen this happen one time before. Michael Johnson ran 43.8 in the semi in Seville, and he stopped running 110 meters or so from the finish line. So on the day of the final, every single human being that walked through the gate full on expected a world record. So when he didn't run 42.9, there was this muted response to a world record, like, oh, that's good. Oh, it's a world record. Like the same thing happened with Sid. Like every single human being full on knew she was going to break the world record. It was just to see how fast it was. And at one point in time, I think every one of us going into the 10th hurdle, I think I couldn't be the only person that thought she was going to run 49 seconds. I was like, well, listen, based on where she was and looking at the clock, I'm like, that's possible. I don't think it's good, but it's possible.
I don't remember the order of seats because we were all basically sitting together for that race.
Yeah.
But I know for certain I was closest to Sir Lucius. And at hurdle 5, I yelled 50-50.
You did?
Because it was that ridiculous.
Mhm.
And listen, I don't want to get lost and not mention Toby Amusan because she's not an American, and ultimately what she did is going to go less recognized by people in this country and shows like this and podcasts and stuff. Like, I didn't think anything would get close to 50-68. Toby got damn close. Okay, she got damn close, but it's Sid, and the fact that she's done what she has done at 22 years old, and her coach basically have said, yeah, we're gonna go play another game now, we're bored. Like, that's all you need to understand about how epically insane that race was, how flawless it was. And they said they thought they was going to be a little faster. So if you ask Bobby K, he's not going to say it was flawless. But from where we were sitting, flawless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
100%.
Having replayed both in my mind, the thing that sticks out to me, and I mentioned it briefly, folks are going back to the drawing board for those two events. There are splits that Toby ran that we're talking 0.91 splits. Like, these are things that have been, oh yeah, I mean, is it possible? Yeah, but have we seen anyone do it? Have we seen anyone, the slow-mo, just watching just how she's moving in between the hurdles, no break in the hips. It almost looks like a pogo stick. Folks are looking at, what is she doing coming off the hurdle? Like, I feel like it's all just, you know, it's one thing to watch someone go around the track, right? It's another thing when it's just that straight and you don't have time. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to adjust. It is, I mean, it is like that. I mean, so I feel like I think if there's a revolution, we're more likely to see it in the 100 hurdles than we will in the 400 hurdles, because you're gonna go tell the next class of 4 hurdlers that 50 point, like, seriously, like we're trying to get 4 US women at 50 point, right?
Ouch.
Yeah.
But
Think about it like this. Think about how long it took to get to 46.78.
Yeah.
And that's what this is going to be.
That's
unless she does it, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Jackie's, you know, HEP record, right?
Yeah.
You just put things out there that people are going to chase for a very, very long time.
A very, very long time. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's.
100%. 100%.
Go ahead, Lamar.
I do want to say this one thing though about Toby Amusan. obviously Sid's performance is the performance of the meet, but I'm going to say this. Every one of us has experienced this and coached this. When somebody runs way faster than they ever have, like your body does weird things. So then I don't know what's going on with Toby's body because she ran 3 times at Worlds, 12:40, 12:12, and 12:06.
Yeah.
12:40 legal, 12:12 legal, 12:06, 2.5 win. Like, folks, that's not different. That's a whole nother planet different because the last 2 runs were on the same day.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's, I mean, look, there are almost no world records that aren't field events where someone has bettered the world record twice in one day. Right? It's happened, but not very many times ever. Now, I know that the second one is windy, but let's be clear, if it's not windy, it's still faster than 12:20.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we got 2 runs better than the WR. And that is just different. You know, like it takes a 50, 60, 68 out of Sid. Otherwise, there's no way that we don't talk about anything but Toby Amasan. So she definitely gets at least a 1B out of me because to do it 3 times is different.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nuance to what Sid did, right? Like she got 7th place in the open 400 with the hurdles. Okay, so it has to be Sid, but you're absolutely right. Like Toby cannot go ignored, and 20 years from now you will remember both of those performances because they were just that good.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing you have to think about with Toby. Again, 50-68 is another planet, right?
Right.
But Toby was 0.07 away from running 11.99 over the hurdle.
Right.
Yes.
Right. When she crossed the finish line, because the numbers were 11, and then it goes 12.
Right, because if that thing stops at 11.99, I think we all just pass out. Like, that's
absolutely.
It's better 50-68. But I mean, I think that because of where it came from, because the 12:06 was windy, that took some shine off it for some people, not for me. But I watched her run 12:40 in the first round. She's gonna break the world record.
Super easy. Super easy.
Right? And then back to the Sid thing, she got to hurdle 5. Clyde absolutely said 50-50. And as he said 50-50, I stood up and started yelling, just stay on your feet. Just stay on your feet. The whole last world, I just kept yelling, stay on your feet, because we knew something epic was happening. So and I want to give a shout out to Mondo for doing what Mondo has learned to do best and play the heck out of the crowd in the situation. Right?
100%.
Because
Mondo's out there manipulating the whole thing.
Because if you watch his first attempt at 621, he never had any intention of trying to clear that bar. None.
So how about when you talk about orchestrated, the 4x4 is over, right? The floor is yours.
That's what we're talking about.
Wait, sir. No. That was done on purpose because of the way. It was because of the way it played out indoors.
Yes.
Right. When it happened in Serbia, and like everybody was like, "Oh no, this is amazing."
Yeah.
So if you're in the building and you watch him, come running down the runway on his first attempt at 621, like that wasn't his run. It was like he was doing a warm up, like he was doing some kind of a blowout to get him ready for the attempt.
Yeah.
And now he knows they're now going to go run the 4x4, and the floor is his. It was amazing. As soon as he planted the pole, everybody was like, "Oh,
yep."
And he boomed it. It wasn't close.
Right.
I want everybody to do themselves a favor. You're going to have to dig, because I'm sure somebody has video of it. Find his jump at 594, and then you will understand why no one was surprised, because he made 594 by 40 centimeters.
Right. And let's be clear, Mondo is extremely smart. He's the master manipulator of the game right now, and it's great for the sport, right? But the reason we're not giving Mondo the throne here is because we all know if he wanted to jump like 630, he probably could. Right?
We're in Bubka
Yeah.
part 2.
Yeah, that's
That's
exactly
where
it.
we're at.
It's all
Exactly,
for
yeah.
it's all for the sake of the crowd, and he owned it, and he absolutely waited until the floor was his.
I mean, those of us that understood what the payment structure and how it was paid out for each world record for Bubka,
Right.
like once we got wind of that and we understood this man only had to break it by a centimeter at a time. I mean, come on, man. That's where Mondo is now.
That's right. You're gonna keep getting paid for it too.
Exactly.
I mean, here's the funny part, right? Like Mondo just broke the world outdoor record, and it's not even a PB.
I
Full
know.
jump 622 indoors.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, so what are we doing? Like, get that man, paid that man his money.
Well, he's making sure of that each time.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So he's got it right. The one thing I was going to say is, and because I've had a conversation and I've seen the conversations on the internet, I think it's funny how people are trying to dispel, debunk allegations, whatever word you want to use, about specifically Toby, but there was a whisper of it with Sydney about how like she's drugging or this or the time wasn't right or all these things. They're doing exactly what we asked them to do, and this is what happens: is you get these amazing times, right? And that's what we tell the athletes that we work with. When you do great things happen.
No, I'm so glad that you did not let us forget that, Chew. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get into it because I don't really care. I'm not here for any of the Michael Johnson slander or accusations of the clock is somehow wrong in the women's hurdles. Look, man, I don't know what your problem is. That was a clownish thing to say. You sound ridiculous. And I don't understand how, like, they should have cut his mic. Like, that is absolutely a clownish thing to say. And Toby doesn't deserve any of that.
Even the doping allegation. Like,
I mean,
and it's not an allegation.
But Chew, let's be real. Anytime somebody runs fast, people going to accuse them of doping. There's people out there accusing Sid of doping, right? We're used to that.
Yeah.
For a man of Michael Johnson's stature to have the platform of being one of the main announcers for BBC, and trust me, BBC audience watching the meet probably bigger than America's, right? Is sitting there slandering the timing system as if she can't do that. And then she comes back and does it again in the finals. Like, stop it, man. Like, that's ridiculous.
I made a comment on Twitter, and really what it boils down to is that semifinal has to be the greatest semifinal in the history of track and field. When you talk about the sheer volume of athletes, we're talking national records, season best, personal best, world record, right? And I have never in my life seen a situation where everybody was on point, right?
Yeah.
And they talk about, like, even in a team environment, how it's shaped like a pyramid, and that kid that's at the top is being pushed by all those people underneath him, right? All those people that are less talented, all those people that that are out there just slugging it out, right? If you look at it in retrospect, Toby doesn't run that world record if she doesn't have the ilk and the caliber of kids that were in that race with her, that she knew, right? Because that look, man, I mean, the fact that only a chosen few fell, I mean, think about, like, I still go through that in my head, and it's just like mind-boggling. So I made a statement that, like, all these PBs, all these personal bests, all of this stuff, I've never seen it before. I've never seen all of it happen all at one time. Well, and it's great. I think it's great for the sport.
I'm going to hold what I want to say for later in these questions, but I'm going to come back to that.
All right. Well, if we're good with it, let's go back. Let's go next to the biggest upset.
Oh,
I
That's
have
easy
one.
for me. I mean, the biggest
Big league,
upset.
what you got?
Go ahead.
Mine's men's long jump. Men's long jump. Long landing.
Okay.
Okay. Look, can you make that case? I like that pick.
Yeah. Tell me why.
Because he wasn't even in, from conversation that you saw online, conversation in the stadium, he wasn't top 4. He wasn't really like in consideration. Then he pops one off. I don't even remember what number that was. Was it number 4, number 5 in his attempt? 5. And it didn't look like he couldn't jump it and just got lucky. Again, he put it all together at the right time and he had something great happen.
That was definitely a big upset and one that I liked watching. Like that.
Yeah.
For for an event that didn't have a lot of highlights, like that was a great moment there. But for me, I mean, come on, the biggest upset is the women's USA 4x1 beating Jamaica. There was no bigger, overwhelming favorite in the meet than the Jamaican women in the 4x1. And for the US women,
other than the US men in the 4x1.
I was gonna say US men in the 4x1.
Not bigger than Jamaican women. No, because listen, other than Noah Lyles, nobody thought the US men had a shot at the world record. Everybody was talking trash.
Okay. So let's forget the idiocy of the world record. Let's please not go delve into that nonsense tonight.
I'm not delving into it.
We'll talk about the upset.
Favorites.
Yeah, we'll talk about the upset, the favorites. Okay, the Jamaican women were huge favorites, as were the U.S. men.
Well, then that can be your pick. If you're picking Canada, you can pick Canada.
I'm not saying that. I just made the comment that the U.S. men were his bigger favorite. But I apologize. You go ahead and do your thing.
So for the U.S. women, and listen, me, and a whole lot of people, when we get things wrong in the relay, especially in the 4x1, we got a lot to say, and rightfully so, in my opinion. When we get it right and it's executed well, I think we have to stand up and give props to those young women and to Michelle Lewis, who put the thing together. If you watch the final, the spacing was right. Proper decisions were made, substituting Abby Steiner for number 2, and they ran their asses off. Like if you look at all the analytics, I'm not sure how that particular group of women could have run much better. So for them to do that in that moment on that stage and upset the overwhelming favorites who at least 60% of the world thought was going to trash the world record, that's for me is the biggest upset.
Why are we doing this again?
The question is biggest upset, and I'm making my case.
You make it. Then talk about the upset and quit talking about the world record.
I just did.
Because there's no world really where 60% of the population thought the world was going to be.
All right.
Okay.
Go.
Conversations
in the stadium, conversations on social media, conversations in chat groups.
That is not 60% of the population, sir.
The population of track community, yes, sir.
All right, next.
Anyway, next.
So for me, and this I would have to say the men's 1500, and that Jake Whiteman.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea who Jake Whiteman is. Now, I don't profess to be
respectfully.
Respectfully, I don't profess to know the ins and outs of the men's 1500, but I do know who Jacob Ingebrigtsen is. And I do respect that man's hustle. And I know for a fact that more than 80 or 90% of the world that watches the 1500 and are enthusiasts about the 1500 thought that Jacob Ingebrigtsen was going to win that race. And when it was, we're talking 150 to go, and I'm like, what am I watching here? Like, who is this? And then the story starts unfolding, that his dad is announcing, watching his son win the world championship gold medal. Like, yeah, I mean, you don't, those are things you can't pay for. Like that's the magic that track and field brings. I mean, I'm trying to imagine if there had been a betting line, what would have happened, you know, to those few that said, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Brit. I'm gonna go with the Brit on this one. Well, oh, okay. All
They would
right.
have made $1 million is what would have happened.
Exactly. So yeah, men's 1500 for me.
I'll jump in there. I'm going to give a play answer and a real answer. My play answer is that Yulimar Rojas did not break the world record. Because I think I'm the only one. No, I'm kidding. But it's like, honestly, I think all of us were surprised.
But we're doing surprise later, sir.
I know. So my upset is in the women's discus. Okay. Because the Chinese came to play, and they were all about some upsets this week. And you know, I've done this one time to a field, and it's pretty awesome when you can just take control of the competition with a 6th round jump in your first round. So, and that obviously in their case, a 6th-round throw in your first round. And then you just watch the entire field just get tighter and like every round just get tighter and tighter and tighter, trying to throw that far.
Yeah.
It was amazing. First throw of the competition, and we're done. Thank you. I'll take that. And Valerie thought she had it done twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She thought she had it done twice.
Yeah.
Dancing and screaming and
all of that.
Yeah.
That's
well, I mean, for me, it was the U.S. women's 4x1.
Okay.
And kudos to Michelle for having to put up with all the nonsense of people trying to tell her who to run and why to run and all that stuff. I do agree that the Jamaicans were an overwhelming favorite. And I think that the Jamaicans forgot that they needed to line up and pass the baton. They forgot that they needed to, consider the order. I think they thought they could just throw them out there and say whatever they wanted to throw, and they were going to win. And the bottom line is, I don't think there's anybody on this planet that saw that group of young ladies running 41-1. Nobody.
No.
Not one of us.
Number 3
and so,
all time.
And see, that's the thing. Like when that time popped up, the time was more impressive than the upset for me. Everybody wants to talk about the fact that we beat the Jamaicans, and it's a great accomplishment. But 41-14 for that group of young ladies is phenomenal.
Yes.
And the way they did it, this is the beauty of having people that have run relays. Not a lot of people, including myself, totally agree with Prandini being on there. But after watching the semifinal, you knew why she was on there.
Right.
1, because she ran a phenomenal third leg, and 2,
Absolutely.
because of her steadying TT's hand as she gave her the baton.
Yeah.
That was the Evelyn Ashford to Esther Jones moment from back in the day, right? And so watching them run, clearly Miss Jefferson was pissed that she didn't run well in the 100, and she's like, I'm going to show y'all who I am. Abby was Abby, and let's give TT credit. She could have easily left early. She could have panicked. She could have folded, but she's like, no.
How many women in her position would have gotten tight? Because everybody in that stadium watching worldwide, you knew that Shaka was coming. You knew it.
Absolutely.
That's what makes a good anchor leg. They're coming, but you can't worry about that.
That's right.
You got to keep pumping, man. You got to run through the line, and if they catch you, they catch you.
That's right. And to that point, like I had a bunch of arguments off cameras and privately in text messages and hell in the stadium at times with like, how's TT on the anchor? Like, guys, this is what TT is good at. Like, this is what she does. Okay, she's been doing it. And my thing, like I said, it can't be lost. Michelle Lewis put 3 rookies out there.
Yes.
3.
Yeah.
3. Melissa Jefferson was in the NCAA this year. Okay. Abby was in the NCAA this year, and it's TT's first season pro.
Yeah.
She put 3 rookies out there. That takes a lot of guts, but it was the savvy veteran who doesn't have the fastest 100-meter time, who didn't make the 200-meter final, that ultimately was the key in the right spot for the relay. So like I said, man, just bravo across the board to them. Like they ran their ass off, and I agree with Lucius. 41-1.
Yeah.
Like if you're an analytics person and you care about the 4x1 and you study it, understand that 2, 3, and 4 collectively ran equal to the world record time from 2012. That's how good they did.
That's how good they did. Yeah.
Phenomenal job.
All right. Did everybody go?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know why I thought we were waiting one. Now on to one that we've already alluded to, biggest surprise of the meet.
EP, since you leaked your answer already, you may as well go ahead.
Sure. I mean, listen, I thought I've watched Yulimar Rojas compete a lot. And with her not being allowed to long jump, I thought she was going to show up and jump 1650 or something crazy and just like show the whole world like this is dumb. And she didn't jump poorly, let's be clear. I mean, she was dominant as always, but she didn't break the world record. And I was actually sort of surprised because we all know like every time she jumps, that's a possibility. So I don't know. I was just, I mean, there's probably bigger surprises, but that one was for me a big one because I was actually somewhat surprised because the way she competes usually is like somebody's pissed her off. I think she's like Alan Johnson. I think she makes things up because she's been dominant for a long time, but she still comes out to the meet and you can tell she competes like somebody talked about her mama. You know what I mean? Like she is fired up.
A lot of intensity.
There's a lot of intensity.
So for me, staying in that same event, we saw the first U.S. woman win a medal in the triple jump in the history of the event.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who on this panel saw Tori Franklin? Let's put it like this. I thought that the other female from the U.S. would have been the one, but Tori Franklin,
Agreed.
I had not seen her compete. I had not seen anything of her. She shows up and puts one of her best jumps out there in the last 4 years. That is the longest that she's jumped in the last 4 years to pull out a third place medal. Kudos to Tori Franklin. Went over to Greece. She's coached by a coach in Greece, and it's one of those things that I think as a jumps coach, we have always had this nagging thing in the back of our head. Why are the Europeans that much further ahead in the triple jump? And I would say in some cases the high jump as well. And for her to pick herself up, move her base of operations over to Greece, and get in there and train the way they train. Kudos to her. Sometimes you have to get it done. It doesn't matter how you get it done, just get it done. And she's got to be gratified. She's got to be. This is something that she's been chasing for a very, very long time. Biggest surprise to me, Tori Franklin.
Oh man, it's still the U.S. woman in the 4x1. It's still there. I mean, like you're sitting there in the stadium and you just think, oh, Jamaica's going to wax them.
Yeah.
Right. And then as the relay goes along, and then it's like, oh my God, they're going to win. And like I still think that with 30 meters to go, 90% of the stadium thought she was going to catch her.
Absolutely.
And I know I was yelling, she's not going to catch her. She's not going to catch her. And Clyde was saying, she's going to catch her. I'm like, no, she's not. Because Sharika was coming now.
Let's be real. Let's be real. We were having conversations about could the Americans beat the Great Brits?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. 100%.
Like that was our conversation.
Yes.
100%.
True story.
Yeah.
True story.
You know what I mean? So I ain't mad at that pick for biggest surprise at all. Not at all. And Governor, kudos. That was a really good pick. You got me thinking there. But my biggest surprise is Toby Amasan. Look,
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that, though.
I mean, listen,
Argue with that.
like Toby's really, really good. And
Yeah.
she's been really good for a while.
Mhm.
Nobody outside, I don't even think Toby saw the world record coming, because look at the video and watch her
Yeah.
face.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna say her coach believed in it, and props to her, but no one,
Shout out Lucina.
right?
Yeah.
No one saw Toby Amasan breaking the world record. No one saw Toby Amasan winning the event.
Mhm.
No one. So to me, that is absolutely the biggest surprise. And I mean, we did world record predictions, right? We alluded to that the women's hurdles could get broke. Nobody was thinking about Toby Amasan doing it. So
No
Right.
shot.
that is for me the biggest surprise by far.
Here's a let me add another layer to that surprise. When it was broadcast that was the first gold medal that Nigeria has ever won.
Right.
For the folks that are watching, think about the legacy and the level of athletes that come from that country
Yes.
year after year after year after year after year. And for this young lady to be the first gold medalist, I mean, it's
There's
unbelievable.
follow Toby Amasan on Twitter. There are great videos from Nigeria of kids,
Celebration, yeah.
and
for school.
specifically young girls from her school
Yes.
flocking to the news that she won. Like, I mean, she's a god in that country now, and
Absolutely.
rightfully so. And oh God, I hope I can find it fast enough. She put out a tweet. I hope I get this wrong, because I'm not going to take the time to find it right now. But basically, back in the day, you know, that's a pretty religious country. Her father would demand that she be at church. And
Yes.
her mother would
yes,
cover for
yeah,
her while she was sneaking out to practice,
yeah.
and her father like disowned her over it. Like, imagine the weight of stuff like that, right? So, I mean, it's a great story. It's a great story.
So I want to throw a small piece of backstory to Toby's story.
Oh yes,
because
please do.
and I listen. I'm not trying to throw shade, and I really need people to hone into this. Nothing that I'm saying is negative. Toby Amasan was at Clemson, and she was literally like the 7th, if not the 8th, best hurdler at the school. And long story short, she and the coach agreed she should move on to a different school because she was never gonna be able to live up to scholarship levels, and the people in front of her were better than her. One of those people was Kenny Harrison.
Right.
One of those people was Brown Rollins.
Wow.
Yep.
Right? So I want everybody to lock in to what is going on. That is perseverance and an internal belief that is required to be great when you're not anointed from the beginning.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to stick that in there so people understood. Like, this young lady at one point in time couldn't win a rep to the bathroom in her training group because everybody was better than her.
Yeah.
She was never not good. But the assemblage of talent in front of her at the time was legitimately better.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
My 2 cents real quick. The Chinese winning 2 field events and not a sprint. I thought that was pretty surprising. Not because I have a bias towards that team, but because in the disc,
Sure.
but in the disc and the long jump, right? And I'll even say this: Fang did catch air and wasn't able to get relatively close to it again. But right time, right throw, and that's what you do, right? That's when PBs happen. But for those two events to be won by a federation who hasn't in the history performed in power events, right? And now it's starting to change. So for that to happen, I thought that was really surprising and great to see, just like we saw in the men's javelin, Grenada winning, India taking second, you know, and how these other nations are now rising to the top. And I thought that was pretty amazing to see, surprising to see at the very least. All right. The next question is, who is the best young athlete? So I do have a question. What constitutes young? Like,
well, yeah, that was going to be my next question too. I mean, like, you know, we talked about this a little bit last week. I mean, there's Ariane, there's Anna. Sid's 22, 23 years old. She's young, right? So I think if it's you're talking about if young is 22, 23 is Sid, right? I mean, if you're talking about the teenagers, it's Ariane, but there's a lot of great young people out there. Yeah.
Actually, if you're talking about teenagers, it's a thing, Mo.
Right.
In your opinion,
right?
Not mine.
Well, I mean, listen. Okay, clearly I'm the, probably third biggest Ariane Knighton fan, right, on this planet. I'm not going to take credit for, his parents or you, but it's just like numerical numbers, right? Like, I mean, they're a year apart in age, and she has an Olympic gold medal and a world championship gold medal. That's the only reason why I said that.
Okay, so if we're talking about medals versus performance, right? The man's run 1949. So,
sir,
1949
on
your numerical, whatever you call it, tables, being the decathlete that you are, guarantee you get more points for 1949 than you get for 155. I'm gonna leave it there. Look, I think they're both phenomenal. I don't want to pick between either one of them. The 1949 gets more points than it's tough.
I mean, I'll just say this: I wouldn't want to be. Look, here's the definition of bad birthdays. What's the other teenage young lady that's in
Hodgkinson?
Hodgkinson, because she's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Just unfortunately, she's
in
the land of monsters.
So when you talk about that, okay, she belongs in the conversation as well because she's last year she was 3 or 4 tenths back. Right. This year she's 700s back. That story is not finished. Has not been fully written there yet. So that's a great battle, and I'm here to watch it. I think that it's going to be a great battle for many, many years to come.
For me, I will defer to the youngest. I mean, let's call it what it is. No one that kid's age had ever won a medal. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who your coach is. I don't care what you have or the army behind you or whatever. To have the intestinal fortitude of putting down 3 races of that quality and to come to that final, right? He could easily have been distracted by the young man outside of him. He could have been distracted by how many other things. The kid had just gone to his prom, okay? Like, we're still talking about a teenager, right? Not a teenager that's in college. This kid is in high school, okay? And he comes to the World Championships and gets a bronze medal. Are you kidding me? Like,
and I want to go on the record as saying that World Athletics needs to do a little reprieve of how they draw the lanes. Let the record show nobody was beating Noah.
No.
This is not about Noah.
Right.
But if he's not stuck down in lane 3, he doesn't get the bronze.
Yes.
No disrespect to Kenny, no disrespect to Dennis, but Kenny's in 5, he's in 3. It makes a difference.
Can we pause on that? Because I think all of us are pretty well versed in the sport, and we were a little confused about how this works ourselves. So there are 3 semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For whatever ridiculous reason. Bring back the 2 semifinals. But anyway, there are 3 semifinals. So there are 3 heat winners.
Yep.
And for some dumbass reason, we take the fastest of the second place dudes
Mm-hmm.
and anoint them into the lane draw shuffle of the people who won the heat.
Correct.
Now, that doesn't make any sense at any level. If you're second, you're second. If you're first, you're first. And because there's 4.
So just before you go any further, so the 6 get thrown in a blender. That's what you're telling me?
No, just
winner,
the 4.
winner, and the fastest loser.
Right.
Fastest second place finish.
Second place guy.
And
Get
in this
thrown
case,
in the blender.
Kenny Bednarik, who was the fastest second place guy, ended up in 5. And
Right.
Ariane, who was a semifinal winner, ended up in 3.
Right.
And the second fastest time from the semis ended up in
Right.
Correct.
So there's many layers to this. First of all, that is wrong. Why are we including the second place person in the shuffle? But further than that, Oregon is a 9-lane track. Why we're running in lane 1 at all is nonsensical, but that's a side issue to me.
But what's the worst part about that part, just I don't want to cut you off, so stay right there, is that I think that's a world athletics rule. I don't think you can break a world record in lane 9. And I think that's why they run 1 through 8.
No, you can run lane 9 because in that wasn't Van Niekerk in lane 9?
Was he?
We'll have to check the
No.
tape, but I think Rio was an 8-lane track.
I
think it was 7 or 8.
I think he was an 8.
Okay, no, he must have been Nathan. You can break a world record.
Okay.
Back in my much younger days, you couldn't, but you can now.
But so yes, these are all world athletic rules. So the shuffle is wrong. When you have lane 9 available and you're not using it, you're running to 1 is wrong. But here's the thing that's really, really wrong. Why is lane 3 considered a preferred lane? Even if you're running 1 through 8, it should be 7, 6, 5, and 4. So at every level, this thing is just wrong. And Arian wasn't the only person who ended up in lane 3 that shouldn't have been there. There were others, but like this is just dumb. This is an easy fix.
Can we just get to something even more like just quintessentially silly? Why do we race and have semifinal winners to then go into a hopper and get randomized?
That's right. Just seed it.
Like I don't even this doesn't make any sense. Like they all raced on the same track on the same day. Just seed it.
And for the record, since we're complaining rightfully so about seeding and lane draws, let me be clear about this one because this one also pissed me off. In the turn events, 200, 400, they block out lanes 1 and 2 for the worst of lanes, and those lanes are reserved for the little Qs. Totally understand that. But in the 100 and in the hurdles, they still block out lanes 1 and 2 for the little Qs. So someone like Dina Asher Smith, who was not a time qualifier, she got the big Q, she got stuck out in lane 8. Why?
Yeah.
Trayvon Bermel was stuck in lane 8. Why? Why am I on the outside when I got the big Q? These are simple fixes. It's just lazy. It's just lazy.
All right. Does anybody else have a different youngest athlete?
I mean, we did get into this a little bit last week, and I said it's Arian Knighton, and it's not close. I do appreciate Lamar's argument, and it's a good argument because him and a thing are so close in age. Clearly, a thing is more accomplished.
Absolutely.
But I actually think
And I think
Arian,
that's the simple distinction, right?
Yeah.
It's just she's more accomplished. I don't think she's better than him. Just so we're clear.
I think his path is harder as well right now. So for me, it's still Arian.
Got it.
I mean that dude's a teenager.
And the thing is 20. She's not.
Okay.
That dude is a
So
teenager.
there's a 2-year,
and
2-year gap.
And other than Sir Lucius, who can remember the last time he ran a 20-second race?
Ran a 20-second race in the first round at the World Championship.
Once anybody was paying attention. The only reason he ran 20 seconds is because Sir Lucius basically said, "Don't mess this up."
Oh no, he was told, "Don't start
Like I said,
No.
don't go out there and run 19.7 right now.
Big league.
All right. Next, the best events.
Women's hurdles. Come on.
I mean, I didn't know where else to go with it.
Come on. Women's hurdles. Women's hurdles.
So I think we're gonna get a 5 for 5 on the women's hurdles. This is what I held back from saying earlier when the governor was getting into this. It's clearly the women's hurdles. And the women's hurdles have been the hardest game on planet Earth for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean in track and field. Pick a sport. It's the hardest game on Earth. And in one competition, all of a sudden, 12-5 ain't shit no more.
Yeah.
I mean, right. It took 12.50 to make the final. I'm sorry.
People, 12-5 until extremely recently would basically guarantee you a medal in most global championships.
Won back in 17, 18.
Yes, it did. I was in the building. Now, 12-5 is terrible.
Hot trash.
Like, that's how good the women's hurdles were. That's how good.
I mean, yeah, we don't need to beat this one up. I mean, look, we can all be nice and play nice and talk about other events that were really good, but like, there's only one answer.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So opposite side of the spectrum. What was the worst event that we saw?
Oh no, that's interesting.
Oh
Yeah, I'm not gonna say a worst event. I'm gonna say a country's worst performance in an event. And we talked about this last week. The U.S. men in the 800 don't get it.
Oh Lord.
It's not.
I mean,
And I'm gonna say
100%.
this. Men's long jump.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the governor. You know, I know that's your.
Oh no. I am about to pile on. Okay. So
because I don't get it. No. I'm sorry, I have no words. It's just not. You know, I grew up watching the battles, right? Now the battles aren't there. 27-4 isn't far.
no, it
And
isn't.
that's not. I know people are gonna think I'm being elitist, but I'm not. It's not far.
You just crushed
No,
every 20, 23, 24 footer.
No disrespect to your countrymen, Chew, but no. I'm sorry. That was the worst event I watched all week.
I will say this though. I don't know, Kareem, if you've actually stood on the runway and on the actual board.
Yes, I have.
I don't think it's a very good place to long jump. I think the board setup gives too much. I'm not making an excuse. I don't think they jump. I don't think they jump particularly well at all as a group, right? Because here's the thing. Look, we've all seen people jump really far on really bad facilities. That's happened, right?
Actually,
I mean, Miguel Pate jumped 28 feet
going on
indoors in the Armory.
Exactly. Miguel Pate jumped 27 feet in the O'Connell Center.
Lamar, think about the
Right.
old runway at Mount Sac. Think about the old
Yes.
runway at Mount Sac.
Yeah.
Okay. Not only that, think about the runway and the way things were set up in the stadium in Sydney with those swirling winds and the fact that it was cold. I mean, look, all that to say this, we have a problem in the men's.
Sure. 100%.
Have a very, very big problem. And the incentive isn't there. The want to isn't there. The standard is not there. In a lot of respects, coaching isn't there either. I don't feel like there's enough of an impetus in that event. I mean, you juxtapose that with what we saw in the men's triple jump, okay? I mean, you had to jump 17 meters to be in the top 6, top 7, okay?
Yeah.
So may I ask a question? Is 17 meters really that far, based on what we're accustomed to seeing?
Well, based on we're coming out of the greatest era, in my opinion. When you talk about
that's why I'm asking. Yeah,
top 2 or 3.
Yeah,
okay?
That's why I'm asking. Yeah,
those 3 athletes and what they did against each other, to each other. You're comparing that against the Conleys of the world, the Kenny Harrisons of the world, the Jonathans of the world, they carried that torch. We are not seeing the torch being carried.
That's
in the
my
men's
point.
long
That's what I
jump.
wanted you to. That's what I want you to
We're
listen
just
to.
not.
And see, and that's my thing, because like there just doesn't seem to be the passion for it, right? Like the coming to watch the men's long jump used to be an absolute dogfight. You know, remember the Melvin Lister and what was my guy from Ole Miss, Savante Stringfellow battles at the
Yeah,
conference
Savante
and national
Stringfellow.
levels. You know,
Yeah.
those battles. Like where are those battles? You know, like what have happened to them? Like I don't know. You know what was the freak? James Beckford. Where's those guys at? You know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't answer that question. It's tough. It's tough to watch. And
It is.
you know, there was a lot said about what happened in 2012 in London, you know, and the opportunities that were there. You know, 836 won the Olympic medal. And that was one of the shortest distances ever jumped to win that gold medal. And you would think that things would have improved from there, but they haven't. They have not.
Mhm.
You know, the last jumper, in my opinion, that was like putting big jumps out there, you know, injuries, he succumbed to injuries eventually, was Saladino. I mean, Saladino was that guy that was thinking about the world record every time he went out there, you know, and you know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that next, you know, wonderkin to come along.
Yeah.
So, first of all, Sir Lucius, 100% agree. From an American perspective, 800-meter men, awful. Like, awful. Didn't get anybody out of the first round. I have no explanation for that nonsense.
There's no words for that.
No, it's ridiculous. However, and I agree, the men's long jump was pretty bad overall. But for me, if the question is worst event, not because of the athletes, but because of the execution and the shenanigans, the men's 110 hurdles was the worst event for me. I was more disappointed with the overall outcome of the men's 110 hurdles because of everything that went down than I was with the men's long jump, because I didn't expect much out of the men's long jump anyway. I expected the men's 110 hurdles to be one of the epic battles of the show, and we didn't get to see that. Takes nothing away from Grant and what he did, but the worst event for me, the event where I walked away like, golly, really, was the men's 110 hurdles.
But it had nothing to do with the athletes in the event. That had to do with the people.
No.
I mean, that's somebody getting injured.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
fiasco running. Yeah.
Like the defending Olympic champion gets hurt doing a blowout. Like he's already warmed up. He's already ready to go. He gets hurt doing a blowout. And then the false start with that. Like we just, like I said, we got robbed of so much there. I'm like,
Yeah. See, I would call the men's 110 hurdles, and you know, obviously I coached the guy that won. It was very anticlimactic.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a perfect word for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't expect much of a climax in the long jump.
Big League, what was it for you?
I don't know that so again, this is to my rookieship. I was still enamored with everything because I'm still watching everything, right? So that I have a hard time. I've listened to all of your arguments. I can't disagree about the men's hurdles. I can't disagree about everything else that's been discussed. But still at different points in each of those events, I was like, oh, like it's still wide-eyed. So I can't fairly answer that question, unfortunately. So next year.
Can I throw one more thing? Can I throw one more thing in there from the Twitterverse, from the social media world, as it pertains to distance? There's a big conversation out there right now about how it's okay for the Americans to be mediocre at distance and they don't get crushed for it, right? There's a big difference between not making it out of the 800-meter heats and, for example, what Fisher did in the 5K and the 10K, which I thought was phenomenal. Like that dude was great. So all, you know, us not getting a medal in things, it's not all built the same way, people. Like you can praise Fisher for his accomplishments and absolutely trash the 800-meter group. Like that's not the same standard.
Well, I think
This is my retort to that. Okay. So when we go to a world championships and we don't win a medal in anything from the 100 to the 400 hurdles, I want to hear you come here and say that same shit.
No, that's what I'm saying.
There's no way you're going to say that same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's okay. It's okay because so-and-so fought his butt off and got 4th in one and 8th in the other. You're never going to say that about the sprint. And nobody's ever going to say that about the sprint.
Well, okay,
I'm not telling anybody to bash anybody.
Okay.
But like we can't be.
But I actually could retort that for you right now. I have absolutely no problem with the women's 100-meter dash people from Team USA.
Okay,
None.
Okay, that's not
None.
a retort because it didn't happen from the 100 all the way up to the 400 hurdles.
No, but that's an event.
Hold on. When it happens in every single event, because from every event from the 800 to the 10,000, there was nothing. Okay, so
not
the
the
whole was to stay. Okay,
not the 8.
Okay, on the women's side. But on the men's side,
well, men's, yes.
8 to 10, on the women from the 15 to the 10, right? So if that same thing happened, if we ever go to a championships and we don't get any medals in any sprint or hurdle event, you're not going to have that same conversation. There's no way.
That's fine.
And there's nothing you can say to me or anybody else that knows you and you're petty behind that's going to make us believe we're going to say that.
I will be petty when it's time to be petty. I meant what I said about the women's 100, though. I meant what I said.
Okay. This is not about the women's 100. They're talking about a group of events that are not held to the same standard as a sprint, and they're not. Okay. I don't agree with how they're going about it and they're attacking it. Okay. In my opinion, okay, we didn't do very well. We got no medals in the long jump, the triple jump, the high jump on the men's side, right?
Right.
Okay. Only got the one medal on the women's side in that event.
Yep.
So there's a lot of areas we can do better. We had this marvelous championships, guys, and it's phenomenal. We should be applauded for that. But being who we are, we want to see us be who we know we should be.
Yeah.
You know, we should be medaling in these events, you know? So maybe somebody needs to call Alberto and find out what he was doing.
Oh, wow. I mean, I will say this.
Now, see.
I can't. Nope. We're gonna keep going.
See, I was fine. I thought I had it clear. This dude had to make me laugh.
No,
I
I was trying to be
so
straight face. I tried so hard to, and then to call me out. Come on, Clyde. Let me have my moment of petty, man. Come on.
with the way the meet started, I definitely thought we were going to win 40 medals. I did. With the way the meet started,
and that's fine. And we still got we get 33.
We got 33. No, but that's but the point is, that's to your point, right? Like, because we didn't pick up any medals from the 15 to the 10K on the women's side, from the 8 to the 10K on the men's side, right? And I thought Evan Jager was all the way back and could sneak in and get a bronze, right? He will next year. I firmly believe that, right? Like, if you look at how far he's come in a year, like, he's going to be back, and we'll have a guy that can medal at that. But yeah, it was. I know we are a speed and power country for sure, but man, did we carry the mail this time?
Mm-hmm.
Right, the speed and power team carried the mail.
I think if there's an excuse for world athletics to never bring the world championships back to the U.S., I think this is a prime reason right here, because that was a shellacking. Okay, let's call it what it is. Okay, the medals that the USA won, and the medals and the way they performed, and the way the crowd, like, that's, if there's anything I regret, is that I didn't get to feel that, and to feel, when the crowd got going, night after night after night, supporting the US athletes.
Young man, it was epic in the building.
Yeah,
it was.
Well,
but there wasn't anybody there.
Right, and exactly, it was empty, right, Clyde. So, like, another thing is this. Now, remember, we didn't get a medal in the 100 hurdles.
Yeah,
we didn't get a medal in the 100, or the 200, or the 400 on the women's side.
That's
And we
crazy.
still got the 33.
Yes.
Right.
That's
Right.
Right.
So
that's
so
crazy.
only sprint medals we got were the 400 hurdles and the relays.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's why I said I thought, look, the way the meet started, I thought we were going to get to 40 because there's certain medals. Okay, look, at the beginning of the week, I counted us as at least 1 and probably 2 medals in the women's 100 hurdles.
I mean, yeah.
Right before, like
So
when
did
the
a
week
lot of
when the week
people.
when the week started, I thought we had an outside chance at a medal in the women's 200.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right
I would agree, yeah.
when the meet started, I definitely thought we had an outside chance at a medal at third place, at least in the women's 400. Like, again, I didn't lock these things in, but I certainly thought we could win those.
There were chances, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They were legitimate chances. So, like, the fact that all those things went begging, as the Brits would say, and we still ended up with 33 damn medals. Like, I think the governors listen. They finally lamented to give us a championship so we could shut up, because they were never going to give it to us again anyway. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
And they gave it to us. Look, it's like Black History Month, right? It's the shortest, coldest month of the year. They gave us world championships in a year with the European championships, and so they could have it as early as humanly possible.
Yep.
Right. This is the
Commonwealth.
most de-emphasized. Exactly.
Okay, so now
Look,
let's be fair. That happened because of the pandemic.
That's true.
Because the championship should have been last year. Stop that.
Right. It fell that way.
Thank you. They didn't see.
Wait, time out. What are you guys talking about?
No.
European championships.
We're talking about the world championships.
But European,
he's saying
European
it would have felt
championships
that way
and world
regardless,
championships,
though.
they would have felt that way.
It would have felt that way
They were
regardless.
both last year.
Yeah.
So it's both sides are true.
It's more about the fact that the worlds came before Europeans. That just
Exactly.
that is disrespect. That is utter disrespect
Exactly.
of what is supposed to be the crown jewel of our sport. Like, hello, and when you think about, when Commonwealth is, like, there are athletes that are now coming off of world championships. And I don't know if you saw, but like the entire Canadian sprint squad said, you know what? We're good. They're now passing on Commonwealth. Like, it's too much. It's too much,
Governor, I know it's too much because I'm getting on a plane to go to Commonwealth Games on Sunday.
Golly.
And I don't even know what day of the week it is currently.
Absolutely, man. I mean, so yeah.
Where we at, you? What's next?
All right. Best for last. MVP of the meet. I have mine.
Oh, I want to go first.
Okay.
Chu said she had hers.
It's
Go ahead,
Kellyanne.
Ladies first.
Kellyanne.
For sure.
By points on its own.
Okay. You counted up the points? What would you do?
I actually did.
Okay.
She had 18 and then what is it? 20.
20.
20.
Just 20.
20 points scored. Okay. College style.
Okay,
I like the math, Chu. I don't know about your math in the competition. But I like that.
Right.
Shut up.
So don't laugh at me. First of all, wait a minute. I just thought about something. Speaking of points, did they ever actually award a trophy? Because I know they were supposed to score this meet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I didn't.
They did. It's huge. It's like it's like the pen.
And where is that going to sit? That going to sit in the USATF office?
USATF.
Indianapolis.
You didn't see the massive
Let's see if I can
celebration.
Drug testing and COVID protocol after the deck. So
yeah,
I
we didn't get to see any of the awards.
My MVP, and listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to get some side eyes, and it is what it is. I'm going to say what I say, and I mean what I say. I'm going to say that my MVP for this meet, honestly, for real, is Sir Lucius. And I'm going to say this for a real reason. The man coached athletes for 9 of the 10 days at a global championship, people. This ain't the SEC meet. He coached athletes from day 2 to day 10. And I just want people to understand, nobody else is close. There are people who are sprinkled in there who coach people on day 2 and day 10, but everybody else had a break in there at least one day. This man was going to the track every day, and it was like you got Death, Texas, and Sir Lucius coming up to section 224 to watch somebody run something. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Clyde?
You are absolutely not wrong, and I will not be picking Sir Lucius as my MVP of the meet, but I like what you did there, and I will echo that praise. Again, Sir Lucius can just mute his mic and be embarrassed if that's what it is. But a couple months ago, we had a little internet debate because I called Sir Lucius the GOAT of NCAA coaches, and apparently people disagree with me on that, which is insane. But God, like, as a person, I'm younger. I've done work that has landed me to coach at 2 world championships, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor. And I know the work that it took to get there with 2 athletes. I can't imagine the process going there to where I have to be on call for work every day. So MVP of coaches, it ain't even close. It's absolutely Sir Lucius, but the question was intended for the athletes. So I'm going to pick.
I do understand that, but I wanted to give coaches never get their props and their flowers, right? And it dawned on me the day before we had to go coach for 2 days in the deck, right? It dawned on me. Lucius has coached 7 days already.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to like store up energy to get ready for the 2 that I'm about to go attack. I was like, this man has already coached 7 frigging days.
I get it.
2 sessions a day, folks.
I'm gonna put a cherry on that because I was at the meet, right? So I haven't yet had enough time to consume all the media coverage, the NBC coverage, the Peacock coverage, whatever. The few days that I have, I've heard a lot of coaches' names shouted out on the air.
Right.
I ain't heard Mike Holloway's name on the air yet. So if we got time to shout out coaches who got 1 medal or 1 person in the final of the 30, 40 people that they coach, I mean, we could shout out some names. So, just saying. My MVP, and I like the Shelly Ann pick on raw numbers. I really do. I honestly, I'm going to defer to that. My pick that I was going to say is Sydney McLaughlin, because she is carrying the mantle of this sport moving forward. Shelly is older. She's still on top, right? But Shelly is much closer to the end of her career than she is the beginning. Sydney's 22 years old. And moving forward, the global face of our sport should be and probably will be Sydney McLaughlin.
I will go next, and I'm going to give you your Shelly Ann Fraser Price, I'm sorry, disrespect her name. And I'm going to counter you with Miss Sharika Jackson, who scored the exact same amount of points that Shelly Ann did.
So I didn't get to her points yet. We came to this event faster than I could get to finish her points.
Public math. And I will take Sharika's combined performances in the 1 and the 2 are better than Shelly Ann's. So Sharika's my MVP.
That is true.
So here's
I should have jumped
Big
in.
League, you don't have to defend.
No.
You
it's a
chose
question.
Shelly Ann Fraser Price. And
it's a
we
question.
appreciate that.
So Sharika was listening, and remember, we were in the combined events room, so I don't really know. Was Sharika on the final 4x1? I mean, wait, what was I thinking? No,
Shelly Ann did 4. No, she didn't run the 4x4.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my question.
They both got 20.
So Shelly Ann wins the 100. Sharika second. Sharika wins the 200. Shelly Ann second, and they're both on the relay. Yeah. So public math.
Got it. Well, no, I saw her 5th, and so I was wondering. I didn't know if she was through the prelims or through the rounds, or if she was really on. I didn't see it, so, and I didn't get to the math yet.
Well, thanks to Sir Lucius for going ahead and truth to power. Appreciate that.
My pleasure, my friend.
Sharika Jackson for me, and it's kind of an ace in the hole when you have someone like Sharika Jackson sitting there you know, and if
Mhm.
they had had a 4x4 that they thought had a chance to line up with the U.S. team, you can bet
100%.
bottom dollar that Sharika Jackson would have been on that squad. I mean, I think it's obvious that knowing what the U.S. had, you know, and I'm not saying that anyone waved any white flags. I mean, let's call it what it is. The Jamaican team finishing second in the 4x4 and second in the women's 4x4, pretty damn good. You got to give them their flowers on that. That was
The national records for both of them.
absolutely yes.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I have to say what Sharika Jackson, what she put down in that 200, yeah, that call it what it is. That was an MVP performance.
And I want Lucius and Lamar, do not go down the petty rabbit hole here, because I'm not attempting to be petty.
Well, here we
Oh,
go.
here we go.
In reference to Sharika Jackson, there's another great video that you need to see where after her performance in the 200 meters, a member of the media, and it sounded like American media, was asking her about her thoughts of FloJo's 200-meter record and whether or not she thought it was legitimate. Her answer to that was brilliant and perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what you think about that record or that particular athlete, Sharika Jackson gave the only answer that an athlete in that position should have given, and it was brilliant. And she basically gave him the middle finger, figuratively, and was like, how dare you ask me such a disrespectful question? What the hell is wrong with you? Whether you agree with that or not, and some people don't, that was the right answer in that moment. Bravo to Sharika for her side eye and her face and her tone in that moment.
So before, what else do we have, Big League?
That's it.
Oh, now we have to eat crow and
Yeah.
do things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our little new segment that we're going to tag on all of the predictions.
It's not really about predictions, but yes, yeah, go ahead.
But so it's a segment from what show? I apologize, I don't recall.
Oh, you mean the model?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I totally stole this idea from Colin Coward.
There you go.
So Colin Coward once a week has a segment, Colin was right, Colin was wrong. And I thought it'd be fun for the audience to see us admit when we screw things up and praise ourselves when we do well. So
yes.
The segment is so right, so wrong.
So wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what I was right about, but I know I was totally wrong about the women's 800. And not that I thought Miss Mo was far off from what she actually did, because I still think she's not the same as she was a year ago, which she proved. But I thought that the other two had caught up to her. But I'm going to give Miss Mo credit for shutting my mouth, because that was nice to watch. So I was totally wrong about that. And I have no idea what happened to Miss Wilson, because that was totally un-Ajay-like.
Yes.
Ajay shows up for the championships.
Absolutely.
So she must have had COVID or something. So I don't know.
If it makes you feel any better, you weren't as wrong about the women's 800 as I was, because I absolutely believed in what I saw at the national championships from Miss Ajay Wilson, and I agree with you. That wasn't her at Worlds. I don't know what that is, because they've never messed that up. You know what I mean? Like, she's always been ready.
Her and her coach get that way.
You know, so if we come to find out she had COVID or something else, like, it would 0% surprise me. But at the end of the day, I definitely have to eat a ton of crow for predicting the upset and having Miss Ajay Wilson be 8th. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to own it. You got to go out on a limb.
And personally, as somebody on this panel that thought that particular pick was utterly ridiculous, I am enjoying this particular moment.
100%.
You know, to be clear, I got the women's 8 wrong too, because I picked the American sweep, but that's not the one that I feel I got the most wrong. The one I feel I got the most wrong, with all due respect, is the men's 200. I straight up said here and many, many other places that Noah was going to lose that race and lose it by daylight. I've never been more wrong about a thing ever in this sport. American record. Bravo, sir. You are the man. It is your event. You are on the throne. And somebody's gonna have to knock you all the way off of it, because taking down Michael Johnson's record is not an easy feat. Was very excited to see that be the result. I loved, him playing to the clock afterwards, like really. And then, it actually became official. So I could not have been more wrong about that one, brother. You, and props to Lance Brahman, who coaches the young man. Bravo, both of you.
Speaking on the 200 real quick, Governor, I'm sorry. I personally was so not baffled. I don't know. I guess in awe of that 200 finish. I never realized who came in second until I was doing the points recap. And I was like, is that right? And so I literally came out, I went out of screen, come back into screen, refresh. And I was like, oh, got it. Okay. So apologies to Kenny Ben-Narek. Didn't know you took the silver. Congratulations. But I too got the men's 200 all the way wrong.
I'm trying to remember where I screwed up the most. Can you tell me?
You can have more than one now. You know, it ain't got to be just one. You can throw things in there.
I mean, I can't imagine that any of us got anywhere near correct in the women's 100 hurdles.
Sure.
Right? I mean, women's 100
no.
hurdles had to be like, we had to have completely obliterated that.
Absolutely.
Well, the mere fact that an American didn't win a medal, that's just that alone. Like,
you know what? I'm not going to say it completely obliterated that, because I'm pretty sure I had Brittany Anderson getting a medal.
You did.
I did too, didn't I not?
You did not.
Who are my top three?
Jasmine, Nia, and Kenny.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oops.
My apology.
Kareem, I believe, Governor, that you and I had the same 3 picks.
Wow.
Yes, you did.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, I definitely screwed the pooch on that one. Yes.
You know what? That right there might have also been one of the biggest surprises of the meet, was Nia Ali not making it out of the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
That was shocking.
Listen, if you hurdle, you've fallen, right?
Mm-hmm.
All falls are not created equal, right? Some falls come because you're under pressure. Some falls come because you're just scared. Nia clipped the hurdle. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
She was in control of the race. She was cruising along. It's the prelim.
It's a bad time.
She hit her hurdle the wrong way.
Lucius, was there something about the hurdles that was different? The way they were built?
Oh, you're making reference to the fact that the hurdle boards were actually wood.
They were actual wood.
They were wood.
Yes.
So a lot less forgiving than the plastic boards that we typically see these days.
Okay.
But when you talk about the women's hurdles,
Kenny apologized on Twitter and mentioned that the hurdles were made of wood, and I was like, "What?"
No, yeah,
they were. Yeah, they had some of them in the warm-up area.
Okay.
But they did. They honestly, carrying them around, they were lighter than the aluminum.
Yeah.
Really?
They were.
Yeah, you couldn't tell the difference.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to, speaking of the women's hurdles, I want to give a shout out to Miss Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. 12:38 in the final.
Yeah.
Which, hey, 3 weeks ago, turning backflips.
Oh, absolutely.
Now you're like,
100%.
that was all right.
Okay. So we can come back to more things that we got wrong if y'all have them, because I know we do. But I personally would like to hear y'all self-praise for something you got right.
Men's javelin.
Chew can celebrate for all of us, because I don't know what
the
I got
defining
right.
win, the winning event for Chew.
That was literally the only event that was predicted 100%.
Yeah.
Every other event we did not predict 100% at all.
See, and the only thing I'm going to say I got right in terms of the World Championships is I got the taper of my athletes right. My
There you
prediction.
go. No, that's a
predict-
great one.
That's the
my
winner.
prediction. My prediction skills suck.
That's what I'm saying. It ain't. No, dude, that's
Yeah.
great. It ain't got to be about
Yeah.
predictions because mine isn't
Okay.
necessarily about predictions, but that's a great one.
That's
yes.
I got that right. Other than that,
You
I
showed up and
struggle.
showed out.
Thank you,
Mhm.
sir.
I think the unfortunate correctness was that I think every single one of us had a little bit of a side eye about us winning the mixed relay because we all actually dived into the schedule. So we realized that the fix was in as
Mhm.
far as leveling the playing field.
Yeah.
And then when we saw what team we rolled out there, we're like, we're just helping them.
Yeah. It's
And I will
Right?
say
Like, I think
this. Oh,
we all knew that this was a chance.
yeah,
Mhm.
I've had conversations with the relay coaches, and like I've said to them, like, you got to pay attention to the fact that this was set up for the world to beat us if we didn't get rid of our arrogance, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We
100%.
we cannot beat the world with our 4 and 5 women. We just can't. We don't have that kind of depth right now. We don't. And I'm gonna have faith that they get it right moving forward. I'm gonna have that faith.
Yeah. I mean, our best, I hate to say this, but it's factual. Our best female quarter milers all run the 400 hurdles right now anyway. If the schedule stays the same going forward, it's an easy fix.
Well, I'm taking offense to that because I don't think all of them can outrun my girl. So there you go. You missed me with that nonsense.
you lobbed that one right up to him. You leaned right into that one.
Oh, geez.
All right.
Why
not
are we
agreeing with that
taking
one.
personal offenses?
Hold on a
I'm
second.
good.
That was clearly a
you
broad
made it.
stroke.
Exactly. A broad stroke that stroked across the face of my girl who's the U.S. champion.
Just
because I
Yeah,
know
like, just slap me
because
around.
I
I'm
know
sorry.
that-
To Lethal Diggs is the only one currently worthy of running on a 4x4 with the rest of the 400 hurdlers.
Now Lamar
Right.
has to go on the website and buy a shirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Hold your breath. Wait for that.
oh my gosh.
now because I know the governor will come behind me and class up his self-praise. I'm going all the way petty on mine. And I got two. One for the general public and the audience. I've been saying for years that this event held in Eugene would be phenomenal and the crowds would be there and it would be epic. And it absolutely was. I do not understand how anybody still looking at the TV, because that's where you were, is claiming that the crowd was somehow not up to scale. It was full, folks.
It was full.
Every day. Eugene showed up, showed out, fantastic. The whole thing was a great, great, great show. And if you didn't go, you should have. You're going to regret not being there because it's never coming back here again.
It's
Okay?
never coming back.
They
Now,
need to build a new airport before they do.
whatever. Now, this one is actually for my fellow panelists. Governor
This is the
excluded,
women's 400 hurdles.
Governor excluded because I do not believe he was around at the time. I told Governor, listen to me. I told these people a long time ago that Sydney McLaughlin would never be beaten by Dalilah Muhammad again.
He did.
And they laughed at me. They
We did.
They
scoffed.
laughed at you.
They told me
I know. I
was being-
laughed at him.
They told me I
laughed
was being
at him.
disrespectful.
Okay, so first of all, I want you to stop saying they and talk to Lamar.
No, Lamar
No,
is the main one.
No,
but
you was there.
being
too.
disrespectful.
Hold
You
on, hold
told
on
me
a
I was
second.
being disrespectful.
Okay. First of all, I want to say this: that you can still not say she will never be beaten again,
Never
because
Again, will Sydney McLaughlin lose in the 400 hurdles to Dalilah Muhammad or anybody else?
Okay.
Never
There you
again.
go.
because
He has
if
now
you-
tripled
because-
down on it.
Because if she lines up and she falls, or she lines up
That's
and
what I
she's
said.
hurt, it can happen.
Well, sure,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, you
Okay.
you can pull a hamstring or you can fall.
She
sure.
should not lose to them.
But
You're
that
right.
would be her
You're
beating
right.
herself. Never
Okay,
again.
go ahead. Anyway, I'm not going to do this with you tonight because I wasn't
Thank you.
laughing or scoffing at you. And look, you are very good at patting yourself on the back. So
That's
go
why
ahead.
I asked for the segment.
Swim.
I was gonna say
Exactly.
he's the one that put this segment together.
I was getting ready to say. So this is clearly why you wanted to do this. So you
But
were
sir,
right.
you did a better job
Sydney's the-
than me, actually.
I did. Okay.
Absolutely. Me being right about a prediction that I have nothing to do with is far less of a flex than you appropriately pointing out that you got all of your peaks correct. Don't try.
All the tapers correct.
Nice
Right.
try though. Well done.
Anybody seen
It
the weight
was
room?
not meant. It was not meant to be a flex, and y'all know that.
It
so.
should have been a flex. It's the best flex. Mine is just petty. Yours means something. But oh yes, y'all gonna eat this on that one. Governor,
You know what?
it's all
It's
y'all.
Governor,
okay.
go ahead. Go ahead,
It's
Governor.
okay.
I got nothing. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
You had to get something right, Governor. You got something right.
I mean, what did I get right?
So you
You've been
scored
talking
the
about how
most
bad the
points
lineup is for a long time.
in the men's shot put. Second to that was the 800.
So you were the only one that got the third place finisher right in the shot put, right?
No, no one got the third
No,
place in the
not
shot
that.
put. We all had Walsh, not Awasinde. In the women's 800, you had Mo and Mora.
So you said he scored the most points in the shot put?
Correct. Well, no.
Of his points.
Of his points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we all scored 8 points.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to say for the record, I did win the men. I still don't know how that happened. I
Take
clearly
your L
don't
like a
know
man.
anything about. I clearly don't know anything at all about women's track though, because I got 8 points right. 8 points. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I was wrong a lot.
Amen, brother.
And
It's
as I
nothing
explained to
to
the
really
governor
say,
earlier,
hey,
I spent so much time trying to not pick what y'all were picking to, and I said to win the thing. And I got done. We got done with the show. I'm like, I'm gonna get last because like none of my picks were, no. They just no, it just wasn't good.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right. Well, to wrap up the show, because we've gone a little bit longer, and I swear we keep trying to say that we're going to go a little bit shorter. We'll give our heartbeat props and then wrap up. I think at the culminating moment of the world champs and going into respective championships that each country has and whatnot, this might be an appropriate time to do so. Does anybody have something they'd like to? There you go, Clyde, with your hand raised.
I got a pretty quick one. Hopefully I can make it quick. To me, I treated this World Championships was kind of all about family to me. Everybody knows about my son Kai. A lot of people don't know that we learned of his presence in the world in Eugene, Oregon a year ago.
Aww.
And to see, to return there with him in tow, 8 months old, and the whirlwind that has happened, meant a lot to me. It also meant a lot to me that I basically got to kick it with my extended family, the members you see right here. Governor excluded; he couldn't make the trip. For the majority of the week was awesome as well. And none of that actually would have been possible if it wasn't for Mondo. And I don't mean Mondo Duplantis, I mean track company Mondo, who basically, got us the all access passes and the VIP seats. And so, to Micah and everybody affiliated with Mondo that made that happen for me and my family, I really appreciate it. It was dope. I wouldn't have missed it for the world, and I would have spent every dollar I needed to make it happen anyway. But the fact that they helped us out with so much was awesome. And so thank you to the Mondo crew from me and my family.
That's awesome.
So for me, I was, before we had moved off of the, MVP and all that stuff, I wanted to throw in a category for most emotional moment. And I don't know about you guys, but, track does that to me, right? And, you know, one of the things that's extremely hard to do, that extremely, I mean, I think our sport is still trying to figure out how to get the outside world to connect with the principles and to get them to understand or somehow understand what's going on behind the scenes, what's leading up to these moments of brilliance, and how these athletes are overcoming and, you know, somehow producing these amazing performances. So my moment, and the person I want to send Heartbeats props out to, is Carol Winger. And when I tell you that I was locked in on every single throw she did in that competition, because I know what Carol Winger has been through. I've been through what Carol Winger has been through. The brace on her leg, you know, coming off of ACL surgery, multiple ACL surgeries, okay? And she's still there, winning the US championships 9 times, okay? And never had a sniff at a medal. And she throws 61 meters plus. And she has this grin on her face, and I'm going, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
And you're watching the competition and you're seeing these athletes, and no one seems to want to put this event to bed. You're not seeing somebody just saying, you know what? Peace out, y'all. This is it. And she comes down on her 6th throw, okay? Knowing this is the last event, the last time that she'll be throwing in a US uniform, last time she'll be competing, professional, and she throws 64 meters plus to grab the silver. Look, man, I mean, all of us have been there. Like, it's one of those heart-grabbing moments where you can only hope. You can only hope to go out like that, right? And you know, we hear it, you know, as athletes that are ending, you know, getting to the end of our careers, we're hearing the talk. You can hear it. Here's the new group of athletes. They're here. The new generation is here. Why are you still out here? Why are you still doing this? And I think for Carol Winger, she can now go into retirement knowing that she shut them up. She shut up the naysayers. She did it on her home turf. Absolutely brilliant.
I shed a tear.
Just really quick, right off of that moment, right? Like, and I think Big League actually saw this and didn't realize what was going on. I've known Carol Winger for a long time, and we were leaving the stadium to head out, and she was standing about 10 feet from Russ, and she was talking to some other people, and I waited, like, you know, almost like a fan, and she sees me and she walks over to me and gives me the hugest bear hug and just squeezed. And it was an all-knowing, like, you know that I know that you know that I know kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, as the most honored recipient, like, I think she needed to give that hug to someone, if that makes sense. And I was honored that I was honored to be that someone. Because listen, what she's been through is, I don't think most of us have anywhere near the fortitude to go through that. I mean, let's be clear. She tore ACL once in that building, not that building, but in that building on that runway.
Wow.
Right. So it's like, wow to all of that. My heartbeat props actually go out to 4 people who didn't know each other before this week. And I'm still not 100% sure they know each other, but they bonded together for a task at hand that was outside of their own body. There are 3 young gentlemen who are Estonian, who go to every combined event globally that Estonians go to, and they get drunk and cheer. They absolutely and positively love the guy that Big League and I coach, Lyndon Victor. First day, he's not doing what he's supposed to do, or he's not feeling it in the high jump, and the bigger one stands up, "Come on, Lyndon!" And they get the crowd going crazy, and it's just like, this is on them. Like, they got this. And then day 2 comes, and we get to the pole vault, and now my 3 Estonian cheerleaders, they've got a new band leader. And Lyndon's #1 fan, who, and I quote, took the baby off the boob because a job needed to be done and ran into the stadium to cheer for Lyndon, is one Tiana Madison. So during the entire pole vault, Big League and I walked somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 miles up and down, up and down, up and down, but we had nowhere near the effect on the competition that those 4 people did. Because those 3 guys and Tiana, they had Lyndon's back. And when he was tight, they loosened him up. And when he needed juice, they gave it to him. And I just thought that was amazing, right? Like, there's no connection for any of the, no actual connection for any of the 4 of them to him. But his personality is such that they glommed to him, and they knew that he needed them, and they gave of themselves for almost 3 hours. So my heartbeat props go to the Lyndon Victor fan club, the 3 young Estonian men whose names I do not know. They will never pay for a drink in my presence. I will for sure always give them alcohol because they love that. And to Lyndon's new fairy godmother, Tiana Madison, who I've been told by 10 different people they could hear her screaming on the screen on the Peacock coverage.
Yeah, they all knew it was her. Rounding it out, my heartbeat props go to a mom and her 2 young daughters who actually stopped me during the pole vault competition. The mother had stopped me, and I apologize. I've forgotten their names since, so it'll come to me and I'll go retroactively. But she said, "I hope your athlete does well. Good luck." And then turned around and said, "I have to say this out loud. My girls are enamored with the fact that Lyndon has a female coach." And I almost fell. I almost started crying. I said, "Thank you so much for your words. Tell your daughters to keep doing what they do strong." I was able to find them during the jab or after the jab competition, and actually, they had asked to take a picture with me, but I asked them. I said, "No, I want to take a picture with you," And so, just in that moment, for them to make it a point to stop, converse, acknowledge, I give them props for being confident enough to do that, to acknowledge it, and just to keep standing up. So if you ever hear me speak about that, I'm always saying that just females in general just always need to speak up and stand up. So kudos to them, and they're working hard as athletes, so keep working hard. But with that, here we are, another episode down. Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Sir Lucius has something to say.
Oh, just kidding. I already thought you went. I thought you were saying bye like I'm out. My bad. That's my fault. That's my fault. I was trying to help.
You get a dub and you just kick me to the curb. See how you do?
Yep.
My goodness.
So I need you more than ever. I need you more than ever.
So I'm gonna give my heartbeat props just to the city of Eugene as a whole, to the volunteers, to just everybody that was involved with the World Championships. Nowhere did I go anywhere in Eugene where people weren't welcoming and pleasant and very happy to have us there. They asked questions, they were engaging. It was just awesome, So for the naysayers out there that want to have something bad to say, I've been to a lot of World Championships, and this may have been the best one I've ever been to.
Wow.
May have been the best one I've been to.
Wow.
May have been.
Okay. That's been echoed by Otto. Otto said this was the best he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
That is.
I mean, start to
Awesome.
finish. You had 9 sevens, and we finished with 255 and 317.
Mhm.
And it wasn't just the performances; it just was the atmosphere around it. You know,
Yeah.
like even back in the warm up area, other than a couple of instances with that things that happened, but like it was just good. It was just very, very, very athlete friendly, coach friendly. It was good to be there. It was.
They're making sure we got our steps in going around them tents though.
Yeah, it
But
was.
you know what though? There's something to be said about that, right? Because you can put on championships a whole lot of ways. An athlete-friendly, coach-friendly championship means a lot to the people that matter in the equation, right?
Because the athletes and the coaches are the show, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got intel on my way home that I don't know. I apologize. I'm very ignorant in this part. Those who are the country who's hosting next year, Budapest, they had their officials on site this year, and World Athletics said, standard. We want you to look like this, and so all the officials were taking extra time to like kind of clarify and explain what was going on as to why and whatnot. And World Athletic and the Budapest officials were supposed to be mimicking because they saw the value in how it was ran. I had run into an official at the airport, and
and I mean, listen,
I'm going to challenge you to use the word uninformed versus ignorant. Okay.
Oh yeah, uninformed. That's true. That's very much it.
And listen, there's data, right? NBC put out some information that said from TV numbers, record breaking.
Yes.
Now we're never gonna break the attendance record of London, right? The venues are totally different sizes, but I'm very interested to see the attendance numbers when they come out based on percentages, because London was at 91% capacity, and I really want to see how the attendance numbers come out. But yeah, they put on a great show.
I mean, for all of us who've been to Eugene for NCAAs or even pre, right, much smaller things, I was flabbergasted at how well the city of Eugene handled the increased traffic.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Like, look, what was my biggest concern going there, and I think I said this to Solutions, was like, where am I going to park the car?
No problem.
A block and a half from the stadium every day.
Every day.
We have a ticket to pay. Damn it.
You didn't have to tell the world that.
We
only got one though. We only got one. We got greedy. We stretched it one day, but we only got one ticket. Right? They did they did a phenomenal job.
I've seen a couple of the comments from athletes that stayed in and around the stadium, and they absolutely love the fact that they could connect with their fans that closely, and be able to live, eat, sleep, and then get to the track, and everything was in this bubble.
Yeah.
And they absolutely love that part. And I remember mentioning that a world championships may be too big for a city like Eugene, and it seems like I was wrong on that.
Like I stayed a 7-minute walk from the stadium.
Wow.
7 minutes.
Wow.
It was amazing. And walking, uphill there, downhill back, just listening to people talk, how excited they were. I saw, there was a day, I think the 5K was in the morning, and there was this group of about 10 people just sprinting to get there. And this one guy, like his girlfriend's running, he's walking, and she's like, if you make me miss this 5K. And he looked up, he was playing on his phone, and she's like, I'm tell you one more time. And he stopped playing on the phone, and he ran in front of her. So he got the message. So but it was just exciting, man. And like people, I got stopped a couple of times and asked questions. And one couple recognized me and asked me about some things. But it was just like, it was just this excitement throughout the whole day. Like even after the last session, when I was walking down that hill for the last time, listening to the people talk about how great of a meet it was, how much fun it was awesome.
Well, and that's and for those of us that were there, like that's, to me, again, I went there as a fan. I was not working. I've been to other world championships. The fact that I could come out of my seat trying to leave and run into Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, run into Rojas, run into Otto Bolden. Like, guys, like, you're not going to go to the NBA finals.
If you're going to drop names, Sebco.
Right? You're not going to go to the NBA
yeah.
finals and run into LeBron on your way out.
Yeah. Uncle Phil was there.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. How about the 2 days in a row? Like Tony Dungy sat right in front of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like,
Travis was there. Travis
Scott.
Travis
Scott.
was there.
But you know what's funny? You know who I feel terrible
like
for?
The free access of everything was just so dope.
I feel terrible for Big League Chew because that was her first world championship.
Oh,
well,
don't
yeah.
feel bad for me. It was just a lot
It's like-
to take in.
You peaked early.
No, he feels bad because like that's what you got to
Oh.
compare everything else to.
I
That's
know.
why he feels
Yeah.
bad for you.
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah,
like
it
that's like
is.
if your first Olympics was Atlanta and you're American.
exactly.
Like you're ruined.
Yeah. I think I'll live. I think I'll live.
My favorite world championships is Berlin, and it was all about what that experience was for me. I spent pretty much every day hanging out with Donovan and Maurice Green, and it was just, like just watching Bolt do what he did, and then looking over and see two of the greats just going. I mean, it was one of those. I mean, I can't ever compare that to anything, and the access they had inside the Berlin Stadium. I don't know if any of you have seen it, the monument and the shrine to, unbelievable. So yeah, I'm sad I missed it though. I mean, I'm from what I'm hearing, it was just as amazing.
Yeah, you missed the biggest high five ever known to man between Sir Lucius, Clyde, and myself after Sid's race in the 400 hurdles.
Yeah,
we look like Jim Valvano looking for somebody to hug. I think I high-fived a lady I never seen before in my life.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure recapping World Championships with you. I hope you all in the ether have enjoyed it as well and have shared your own stories as you push pause to tell it. But other than that, we'll resume again next week with more on it. Other than that, have a great night. We'll see each other soon. Bye, everyone.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth pin them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place to appeal to go further. Hey, Wally, Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass it, failed, and sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics, LLC, the task force.